Here for you in Montcalm, I'm Robert Castillo, WVVA News.
Good for them. Hopefully they have a great year.
Just ahead, we are monitoring an active shooter situation in Pittsburgh. Plus, 8 Republican presidential hopefuls prepare to come face-to-face tonight in Milwaukee for the very first GOP debate. Our political reporter is there with a preview of what we should watch for. And students return to Mason City Public Schools today, but not all books are on library shelves. Your News at Noon starts now.
Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
Good afternoon, I'm Jess Abrahamson. First at noon, we are monitoring some breaking news out of Pittsburgh. An active shooting is underway there. City officials say law enforcement officers are currently engaged in an extremely active situation, with shots continuing to be fired. The shooting started after the sheriff's office attempted to evict a resident in the Garfield area. One suspect has opened fire on deputies, that is according to several police agencies. At this moment, there is only one suspect. No word on any injuries at this time. We'll continue to follow any new developments with this story. We are dealing with another day of dangerous heat index values. In fact, for parts of the area, it could feel as hot as 115 degrees this afternoon. Let's get the latest on this with meteorologist Ted Schmidt on a very bright weather patio. Hi, Ted.
Hi, Jess. It's incredibly hot right now. We were talking about how hot it was yesterday. Well, it's actually feeling even hotter now than it was yesterday. We've really reached the pinnacle of this situation, of the heat that is in the area. The good news is by mid-afternoon, late afternoon, we're going to begin to see the humidity ease back a little bit while temperatures themselves continue to soar, but it is going to be all around basically the same situation. A lot of hot sunshine with heat index levels triple digits, and that's where we are already at this hour. Some hazy sunshine, blue sky overhead. That's the current scene from our Lewiston auto camera. It's 91 right now. Little bit of a southwest breeze, kind of stirring things up. It feels not too bad out here with that breeze anyway. It feels like 104 though, 104 the current heat index here at the studio. 2.77, not quite as high as the 80 we had yesterday, but that is incredibly high anyway. 91 at the airport also in Rochester, 97 at this point in Winona, Mesa City 94, it's 93 in Albert Lee. Here's how it feels outside. When you step outside, it's 110. That's how it feels in Preston. 113 in Charles City, Rochester 104, and we're going to be in that 100 to 115 range right through mid-afternoon. Notice things do start improving after about 4 or 5 o'clock. That's as the humidity begins to dwindle a little bit as some slightly drier air feeds in, but temperatures themselves will continue to soar. We're talking numbers around 100 degrees. Rochester will be just shy of that officially, but much of the area will be in the 100s. Even hotter than yesterday. Excessive heat warning today until this evening. Then tomorrow is a heat advisory as a cold front moves through. In other words, we're going to take a step back, not quite the excessive heat, but still very warm weather tomorrow. Uncomfortably warm, shall we say, as we did see a couple of isolated showers fall apart as they moved into our area this morning, but we'll wait until maybe Friday morning to see any more rain chances. Allergy report, high for trees and mold, very high for dust, as we look for level 8 out of the scale of 1 to 10 of the UV index. Mostly sunny today. 77 is the seasonal average. We were actually warmer than that at the start of the day. That is now we set a record for the warmest low temperature in this date because we stayed in the upper 70s. Sunset 8:02 this evening. Between now and then, nothing but hot sunshine. 96. That's 3 degrees warmer than yesterday officially, but the heat index already warmer than yesterday because of that humidity. We'll talk about improving weather beyond that Thursday night cold front. There are rain chances that may be associated with that, but also some much improved temperatures. Full details in just a few minutes.
A lot of people are looking forward to that relief from this heat.
Yeah, thankfully, it's only a few days of this, yeah.
Yeah. A few heat-related notes for people in Mower County. Cooling shelters are available in several communities for many people who need a safe place with air conditioning. There are locations in Austin, Brownsdale, Grand Meadow, Leroy, Lyle, and Rose Creek. We have all of the locations and details on the hours on our website, kttc.com. You can also call the Mower County Needs Line. That number is 507-396-8227. Meanwhile, Austin Utilities has issued a peak alert for today. The utility company is asking customers to reduce energy usage until 8 this evening. In this extreme heat, it is also important to remember our pets' safety. Veterinarians say even small periods of time in high temperatures can be dangerous. They begin to worry actually when the heat hits 80 degrees or higher. An expert at Broadway Veterinarian Hospital in Rochester says there are a few signs dog owners should be on the lookout for.
First signs of heat exhaustion, which is the first stage of our body temperature reaching a point that's not great, would be excessive panting, drooling. When it starts to get more severe, we become disoriented, so we might not come when called. Some muscle tremors, even spasms. Worst case can lead to seizures.
If your dog is showing signs of heat exhaustion, the first step is to cool them down. Some ways to do that are wiping down their paw pads or putting a fan in front of them. We have more safety information on our website, KTTC.com. Heat is impacting some school districts today. Osage Community Schools are dismissing early today and tomorrow due to heat. Lincoln Elementary is dismissing in just a few minutes, and the middle and high school will be done at 12:25. The district says students who ride the bus will be given a bottle of water for the ride home. Parents in Decorah will also have to pick up their kids from school earlier this week due to hot weather. The Decorah Community School District will have a 2-hour early dismissal today and tomorrow. We're told the John Klein and West Side school buildings do not have air conditioning. Schools will release around 1 p.m. Today, students and staff in Mason City are back in their classrooms. It is the first day for high schoolers, but there's a new state law when it comes to certain books in schools. In May, Governor Kim Reynolds signed a sweeping educational reform bill into law. This includes limitations on school and classroom library collections, requiring every book available to students be age appropriate and free of any descriptions or visual depictions of a sex act. That's according to state codes. Once it passed, all public school districts had to comb through their libraries and get rid of any books that fit this category by the time the school year started. To help identify the books in their collection, Mason City school leaders used AI. They say this method was used as a starting point to narrow down the collection and as part of a larger process.
We did use AI along with booklooks.org and along with other sites, along with different things we found on the internet as well, to help us come up with a process to try to sift through thousands of books as quickly as we could to try to be in the spirit of the law compliant when the day one of the school year starts.
If parents want to have one of these books reconsidered to return to the school shelves, they can reach out to their district leaders. For a list of all the books that are currently banned, go to our website, kttc.com. The University of Minnesota is investigating the possible theft of personal data that could impact millions of alumni. The investigation was launched in late July after the tech journal The Cyber Express reported claims that a hacker potentially gained access to more than 7 million Social Security numbers. In an email, a U of M spokesperson did not explicitly confirm that, but says the data at issue is from 2021 and earlier, and that additional scans have not revealed ongoing suspicious activity related to this. The university says it is working with law enforcement and outside computer forensics experts and will provide resources to anyone who might be affected. Former Trump advisor Rudy Giuliani is on his way to Georgia to surrender to officials. Giuliani left his New York City home this morning to travel to Atlanta. That's where he will turn himself into authorities. This comes after he was named in a multi-count indictment related to former President Trump's alleged attempt to overturn the results of the 2020 election in the state. The Republican GOP primary debate is set to take place, the very first one, tonight in Milwaukee. 8 Republican presidential candidates will descend on the city at Fiserv Forum. Former President Donald Trump will not be there. He is expected to turn himself into authorities in Georgia tomorrow night. We're going to get some guidance on tonight's debate in a live interview with our political correspondent just a little bit later in this newscast. Governor Tim Walz is announcing some new appointments for the Minnesota Supreme Court. Walz appointed Justice Natalie Hudson to serve as Chief Justice for the Supreme Court. She's going to start in October after the retirement of Chief Justice Lori Gilday. According to Walz, Hudson is one of our state's most experienced jurists. He says she has a strong reputation as a leader and consensus builder. Walz also announced the appointment of Carl Procaccini to serve as an associate justice. He's actually going to fill the vacancy that Justice Hudson once filled before her elevation to Chief Justice. Walz stated that, quote, Carl understands how legal decisions impact the lives of Minnesotans. There is no one more prepared for the rigors and challenges that come with this important position. This could be a life-changing day for 3 young women in our area as they compete for the title of Princess K of the Milky Way. And if your travels take you to Bluff Country this fall, there's a new coffee shop you may want to check out. We're going to take you there next. It is the eve of the Great Minnesota Get-Together, and tonight we will learn who will become the next ambassador for the dairy industry in Minnesota with the crowning of our 70th Princess K of the Milky Way. Tonight, reigning Princess K, Rachel Rinda, will be passing her crown onto one of the 10 finalists vying for the title. 3 of them are from Southeast Minnesota. Mackenzie Alberts of Pine Island is representing Dodge County. Ann Simpson of Pine Island represents Olmsted County, and Riley Ward of St. Charles is representing Winona County. The coronation takes place at the State Fair's Liney Lodge Bandshell stage. It starts at 8 this evening. Princess K serves as the official Goodwill ambassador and spokesperson for the state's nearly 1,900 dairy farms. Good luck to all of the finalists. You would all be great representatives. There is a new coffee spot to check out in Bluff Country. The Paddle On Coffee Shop and Maker Emporium recently opened its doors in Lanesboro. The co-owners are hoping the shop becomes a place locals and visitors can get together in a relaxing environment. And they tell us so far, reaction's been positive.
Everybody knows that, like, you sit down together with somebody for a shared cup of coffee and a good conversation. Or we imagine there being book clubs meeting here and groups meeting and planning and dreaming about their future here. So a place that both is for the community and is for the extended community of the people who come and visit Lanesboro every summer.
It's a beautiful spot. The owners have a shared love of kayaking and wanted to incorporate their hobby into their name. The coffee shop also serves as a retail shop for area artists. And Ted, we might be craving those iced coffee drinks today.
Yeah, it's certainly more popular than something hot at this point. It's a very warm and humid day today. The good news is we see some signs of a cool down ahead of us. The latest in your forecast is coming up after our market report.
Missed part of our newscast? KTTC has you covered.
Here's your first alert weather with meteorologist Ted Schmidt.
It is hot out. You know, I was thinking about our KTTC trips to Iceland that we have coming up this fall, and that sounds kind of nice on a day like today.
It would be refreshing. I mean, yeah, it'd be really cool in many ways, but it would be literally cool because the temperatures in Iceland, even in the summer, are oftentimes only in the 50s or 60s. So, you know, that would be definitely refreshing on a day like today. Sweater weather. You know, we had that a couple weeks ago. Remember we had those highs in the 60s a couple of days, and people were wondering if summer was wrapping up. Well, that certainly has not proven to be the case. So, in fact, we are in the midst of the hottest spell of summer right now. Here's the current scene from our Lewiston auto camera. This is from CC Heights, some hazy sunshine. Here at the studio, we're in the low 90s, and at the airport, 91 officially in Rochester at RST, 97 that is in Winona. Austin 97, and 94 in Mason City. Factor in the humidity, and it feels like the triple digits. We are feeling hotter now than we did yesterday in Rochester. 91 the temperature. 2 days in a row we've made it to the 90s officially, I might add. Yesterday was 93. Today 91 already. We're going to be warmer than yesterday, as you can well imagine. Southwest winds helping the cause. Dew point 77 at one point. The dew point yesterday was 80. Highest dew point we've had in a couple of years, and we're likely actually to see that begin to diminish. Winds will turn more to the west. Slightly drier air is going to come in. That'll help, but temperatures themselves are going to take off. Right now it feels like 104. Yeah, that's the official heat index in Rochester at the airport. 105 in Winona. Mason City matching that, 105 there. Charles City, well, I hate to say they're the winners, but they're feeling some of the heat there. And Decorah now has moved up to 114, so they are the winner, I guess, with the highest number in that heat index level. I don't know if they're the winner, though. They're feeling the most uncomfortable at this point, unfortunately. Triple-digit heat index all across the area from Rochester down to Charles City, Mason City, and everything in between, all the way from now until about 7 or 8 this evening. Beyond that, still very stuffy all the way through the midnight hour. Still feeling like it's about 90 through about midnight. Excessive heat warning remains in effect until this evening. After that, southern Minnesota transitions to a heat advisory. That's to a lesser degree a very warm situation. That's for tomorrow. The rest of the area remains in a excessive heat warning through tomorrow until tomorrow evening. So we're all in the first alert day today and tomorrow because of the heat, though in some cases it will be improving a little bit. Watching a front approach from the northwest, that cold front will move to the area later tonight, helping our Minnesota counties cool off a little bit, but right now it is definitely feeling very hot. Rochester 91, 98 in Waterloo, 95 in Sioux City. Behind that front, 73 in Morris and 63 in Duluth. That's where it's a different season altogether. Dew point, very high end of the humidity scale. We were up in the tropical level there for a little bit last evening. It was 80. It's feeling more like New Orleans than Minnesota, but now we're seeing some slight improvement from there, and we'll continue to work our way down over the next couple of days. Heat index forecast today, triple digits around 108 the peak, and then we'll cool to the 70s tonight, and tomorrow 90s instead of triple digits. So there is improvement, but still extremely warm and humid tomorrow. Then we get to Friday, the days that follow into the weekend, less humidity each day, feeling of that, and temperatures very mild over the weekend, 70s for highs. Cooler than our dew point is right now, in fact, for actual air temperature. But future track today, winds turning more to the west, slightly drier air coming in. We'll have a very warm afternoon, temperatures approaching 100. Tonight, dropping to the low 70s, not as warm as last night, not as humid as last night, with a little bit of a southwest breeze. And then tomorrow, northerly winds behind that front, ushering in slightly drier air. Temperatures still in the 80s to low 90s. North Iowa may see some mid-90s with that heat index approaching 100. And then thunderstorms come in first thing Friday morning with another front, and that continues to bring some mild sunshine. Still 80s on Friday afternoon, but there's a couple of strong storms possible. First thing Friday morning, hail and some gusty winds possible as that decaying complex of activity comes in. So we'll keep an eye on that. First thing in the morning on Friday. Temperature planner, 90s today. 80s tomorrow, at least 80s to around 90 tomorrow on that outlook. And the heat index level for the next few days going from near 110 today to 95 tomorrow, and then not even as warm as 90 if that feels like temperature Friday. The weekend looks terrific with temperatures in the 70s. Today, mostly sunny, heat index 100 to 115. Southwest winds kind of breezy at times, 10 to 20 miles per hour. Light winds tonight, warm and humid, 72. And tomorrow, a lot of sunshine. Still at northwest breeze behind that front, trying to draw in the drier air, less humidity for many of us. 89, though, still feeling like the 90s. And your forecast tomorrow, 89 Rochester, 93 Decorah, 94 in Charles City. So still a very warm and steamy day for many of us. 7-day forecast is stray thunderstorm first thing Friday morning. That's the only rain chance we have. But the weekend behind that front looks amazing. Look at those mild temperatures.
Oh, yeah. Looking forward to the weekend, and it'll be here before we know it.
I hope so. This heat's, it's kind of tough out there.
It's going to be a sweet reward after some very hot days.
Right.
Thank you, Ted. Tonight, 8 Republican candidates who all want 4 years in the White House will take to the stage in Milwaukee for the very first debate of election 2024. Former President Donald Trump is leading in the polls and has posted to social media he will not participate in the debates. Our very own Molly Martinez is joining us live now from Milwaukee with some valuable information heading into tonight. So, Molly, 8 presidential hopefuls, that's a lot to share the stage together. So what do these candidates need to do tonight to stand out? And I also understand that there's some developments with one of these participants, the governor of North Dakota.
Yes. Hey, Jess, we're getting some breaking news about Governor Doug Burgum of North Dakota. We learned last night he had to be hospitalized because he injured himself during a game of pickup basketball with his staff. I just spoke to his chief of staff. It might be an Achilles tear, which is a terrible injury. You really can't walk. He says that in a short time, all the candidates are going to do a walkthrough of the debate stage. They're going to familiarize themselves with the space, get to know their lecterns. He says that if Governor Doug Burgum is ambulatory during that time, then it's a go for tonight. But as of right now, it's very touch and go as to whether or not he will make an appearance on that debate stage. One person we know will not be on the debate stage is the frontrunner, Donald Trump. He instead is opting for a taped, pre-recorded interview that's going to air during that same time slot.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more than that, because that's kind of a competing interview. Also, there are some big developments with him in court tomorrow.
Yes, this is all a very busy week for the former president. He is set to turn himself in to Fulton County authorities to surrender himself for that election fraud case. He's going to be booked tomorrow morning, just pretty much hours after this interview airs. He's not appearing on the debate stage tonight for a couple reasons. One, he has said that he's very confident in his position as the front runner and that he doesn't really feel the need to take the debate stage. But others are saying that it's because he's going to shield himself legally. Obviously, the question of his pending legal cases will be brought up tonight, and this allows him sort of an out to not talk about that and further incriminate himself in those cases.
Okay, busy week, a lot to talk about. We appreciate all your perspective. Thanks so much. Still to come at noon, Howard has something for steak lovers. First, we're going to be hearing from Dodge County leaders, sifting through the unknowns of Minnesota's new recreational cannabis law.
Join us for Midwest Access, weekdays at 4 p.m. on
With recreational cannabis and cannabinoid products now legal in Minnesota, communities like Dodge County are trying to address issues about smoking it in public. At this week's County Commissioners meeting, our Noah Kaplan learned why many Dodge County residents have some reservations about its use on public grounds.
Dodge County does not have an ordinance for smoking in public. That is for tobacco products and e-cigarettes. But that could change for cannabis and cannabinoid products.
Is this something that they would like us to look into further, or is this something that they're not concerned about?
At Tuesday's meeting, county commissioners were on the same page, saying based on public feedback they've received, they would like to see some form of ordinance about smoking cannabis and cannabinoid products in public.
Not being able to smoke cannabis in open public spaces will help alleviate any concerns or problems that might arise.
Those concerns? County commissioners say they don't want these substances to be smoked in places where underage youth, especially little children, are present. According to the county's public health director, that concern has been echoed by residents.
What is that going to look like when you have individuals who are going to be smoking cannabis products in front of children?
In Manorville, Noah Kaplan, KTTC News.
And here's Howard with what he's up to in the kitchen.
Today, we're teaming up the flavors of our favorite summertime drink with a thick-cut steak, and the results are very juicy. Very.
A stair lift gives you or a family member the ability to
When it comes to making steak, whether it's out on the grill or inside in a skillet or grill pan, there's only so many ways to change it up. At least that was the case before we came up with a new twist that has everyone in our test kitchen talking. Plus, it's perfect for Margarita Mondays. All we do is place a few strip steaks in a glass baking dish or a resealable plastic bag and top it with a can of frozen margarita mix that we've thawed. You see, the tartness in the mix gives them a fresh summery taste while they marinate. Right before cooking these, we drain them and sprinkle both sides with some coarsely ground pepper. A few minutes on the grill or grill pan is all it takes to bring all the flavors together. We finish them off with a little salt, just like you would a margarita, and dinner is served. So rather than settling for just another ordinary steak, try one that will leave a lasting impression. To get the recipe, just go to our website and search for Sizzling Margarita Steak. That way you can celebrate Margarita Mondays in a whole new way. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a fiesta kind of way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
It's a hot day to think about grilling, but that steak looks amazing, and the margarita would probably cool you off after.
I'd say he knew exactly what we were thinking about, Jess. I think we were both thinking the same thing. Mr. Food's Test Kitchen, you know, Howard he's right on to something there. Cold, blended, or one on the rocks, whatever margarita. It doesn't have to be Monday for Margarita Monday, but maybe Margarita Wednesday, because it is hot, and it is going to be hot all the way through this evening. We have an excessive heat warning all the way until about sunset this evening. Here's the current scene with our Louis Dodauto camera. There's a lot of sunshine, and it is hot sunshine. We are up to 93 now here at the studio. Feels like 106 when you factor in that dew point of 70. It is sizzling out here. Southwest winds 9 miles per hour. I'm grateful to say that wind is swirling around here in the weather patio, and for the first time, it seems to be what seems to be a long time. That wind is helping a little bit. 91 at the airport still this hour. It's 97 in Winona, Mesa City 94, and La Crosse 96. We throw in the humidity. Feels like 111 in La Crosse, 114 in Decorah, 104 here in Rochester, 112 in Charles City, and heat index is going to be a problem all the way until well after sunset. We go from the 100s to the 90s, and then after midnight, we drop to the 80s. That feels like temperature is still going to be very, very stuffy. Right now, looking at a spotty shower or two that was firing up to our west early this morning. They've died away. More energy to the west will bring another chance of rain, but that's late tomorrow night into Friday morning. In the meantime, we deal with hot sunshine. Weather Almanac, 77 is the seasonal average. 100 is the record today, set back in 1948. That won't happen today, but we'll come within a few degrees of it. Certainly closer to that than the seasonal average. 96, the expected high temperature, with a feels like temperature of about 108 to 109 here in Rochester. 100 teens, of course, in North Iowa. And then tomorrow, maybe 6-7 degrees cooler. So we'll see at least some improvement. Ted's Trivia. A cucumber contains what percentage of water? And we're thinking about hydrating. Well, maybe you should grab a cucumber. We'll have that answer coming up in a few minutes, Jess.
I had one for my snack here this morning, so this was good for a hot day.
All right.
Didn't even know. Thank you, Ted. It is a Wellness Wednesday, and our Zach Fuller is talking to an expert about hypertension and pregnancy. Also, there is a sunflower warning out that has nothing to do with the plant, but rather the people posing with those beautiful flowers. More on that next. This afternoon, Governor Tim Walz will announce the appointment of 2 new judges to the Minnesota Supreme Court. And Zach Fuller is going to be covering this online for us and joins us with more. Hi, Zach.
Hi, Jess. Yeah, we will have a second special edition of KTTC News Now when Governor Tim Walz makes his 2 appointments. Now, he's elevating one to the Supreme Court and then one to an associate judge as well. So that'll be at 2:30. We're going to be carrying that both on KTTC's live stream and as well as our Facebook page, as the first black woman is appointed to the Supreme Court here in the state of Minnesota. So a historic day for the Gopher State as well.
Absolutely. Zach, it is also a Wellness Wednesday. Today's topic is hypertension in pregnancy.
Yeah, Jess, hypertension happens in about 7% of pregnancies. And what Mayo Clinic did in this study is they looked at how it is passed on to the offspring. And what they found is offspring are potentially 2 times more likely to develop chronic hypertension later on in life, specifically in their 3rd or 4th decade of life, aka when you're in your 30s or 40s. So I spoke with Dr. Vesna Garovich. She helped lead this study, and we talk about maybe ways to keep the blood pressure lower, as well as what you could do if you potentially think that you might have hypertension as well. So really it is a study of how they look at how this is passed on generationally. So we'll have that coming up at 1 o'clock on KTTC News Now.
Some valuable information. Thanks, Zach. We'll see you online shortly. As the Pro Farmer Crop Tour continues, we're going to get a glimpse at how the growing season is going so far in the Midwest. Here's our Ag Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. Results are in from day 1 of the Pro Farmer Crop Tour. In Ohio, scouts calling for 183.94 bushels to the acre on corn. That's up more than 9 bushels from last year. For soybeans, yields are expected to be up more than 10% from a year ago. While in South Dakota, corn yields are forecast at 157.4 bushels to the acre, a whopping 33% higher than a year ago. Meanwhile, soybeans up 16%. For more on day 2, watch Crop Tour live at 8 o'clock Central Time over at agweb.com. Prices for rice are going up around the world. It's putting the most vulnerable people who rely on the food staple in some of the poorest nations at risk. Vietnam's rice export prices hitting a 15-year high, even before India placed a partial ban on exports, which cut supplies by a fifth. Countries, they're already frantically buying rice in anticipation of scarcity later, creating a supply crunch and spiking those prices. People venturing out into one farm field in the UK are having to be told to keep their clothes on. The Stoke Fruit Farm on Haley Island issuing the unusual request regarding their sunflower field on social media. Now, the owners say too many visitors to the field of 2 million sunflowers were posing naked among them for photo shoots, some right out in the open. The farm's owners became concerned after children visiting the farm may have seen a little more than they should. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or anytime at agweb.com.
Ag Day Minute brought to you by Jen Bush.
Here's your first alert weather with meteorologist Ted Schmidt.
Steamy sunshine today. Once again, we're sweating in the triple-digit heat index values right now. It is a very warm day. Yesterday we were doing this. Today it is coming even earlier. Of course, we started the day right around 80 degrees, and we've only been warming since then, well into the 90s now. And here in Rochester, low 90s at this point. Blue sky outside, as some of our Lewis did auto cameras. We're looking at a very bright day. It's 91 in Rochester, but Austin 97 on the precipice reaching the 100s. It was 99, a record high in Austin yesterday, and they're likely to blow past that today. 94 in Mason City and 93 in Decorah. Winona 97. It feels like 104 here in Rochester. The dew point 77. Yeah, we have just enough space in that column for triple digits. We haven't had that in a long time. Look at the triple digits all across the board. Everybody is there. It's 101 in Zumbrota, 105 in Winona, 111 in La Crosse, and yes, Decorah has made it up to 117. That is really a hot day. And we'll be in the triple digits all the way into evening until at least 7 or 8 o'clock. We do have an excessive heat warning, as you can imagine. The entire area is in it. That'll happen all the way until 9 o'clock tonight. Then after that, we transition to a heat advisory for tonight and tomorrow. This will be slightly less humidity in the air. Tomorrow, not quite as hot, but still it can be a problem if you're not hydrated properly. So we're talking about and staying cool, but it's going to be a very warm day. And we have first alert days today and tomorrow because that North Iowa will actually remain in an excessive heat warning. It's going to stay a little warmer there as this cold front for the west works its way in. Very warm situation ahead of it. Once it comes in, we'll shave off a couple degrees compared to today. For tomorrow in southern Minnesota, but North Iowa takes a little bit longer for that front to move through, and so it will be very warm here for a bit longer. Dangerous heat today. It's going to feel like the triple digits. Be sure to stay cool and hydrated as much as possible. Still hot and humid for tomorrow, at least especially in North Iowa, and then mild with less humidity heading into the weekend. But future track today, winds turning more to the west. And there'll be slightly drier air. Humidity is going to slowly begin to drop off a little bit today, and that will help the cause. It's still going to feel the same as temperatures themselves will be higher. So in the equation, more heat, less humidity, but still feeling about the same. Tomorrow, a cold front moves through before sunrise. Tomorrow, with that north breeze, slightly less humidity. Temperatures tomorrow in the 80s to around 90. Then heading into Friday, cold front first thing in the morning moves through. Scattered thunderstorms, maybe a couple of strong storms. A level 1 risk from the Storm Prediction Center. First thing in the morning, mainly north and west of Rochester. And those storms move out by mid-morning. They'll have a drier afternoon with still some 80s during the day with heat index levels shy of 90. Weekend looks mild, but again, today and tomorrow, first alert days with that intense heat and humidity. Temperatures today around 96. Some spots will reach 100. Heat index level 100 to 115. Southwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. 72 tonight, not as hot as last night's upper 70s, or warm anyway, in the upper 70s. Tomorrow 89, it'll feel like it's 90 to 100 with northwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. And the hot spots tomorrow will be North Iowa and around Austin, 92 there, 93 in Decorah. Rochester tomorrow 89 and 88 in Owatonna. 7-day forecast, a stray thunderstorm first thing Friday. That's the only rain chance, but the weekend behind that was terrific with temperatures in the 70s and some sunshine. Ted's trivia, a cucumber contains what percentage of water. They're pretty juicy.
My daughter packed a giant cucumber for my lunch today, along with a little cottage cheese and some grapes. I'm going to go with 75%.
It's actually really juicy. 90%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, no wonder I'm feeling so good today.
Yeah,
all that extra water.
Well hydrated.
Some green, too. Thank you, Ted. The heat is on, so we're going to take you on a tubing adventure on the Root River to see how the season has been there. We'll be right back. When we're dealing with heat like we are this week, a little tubing on the Root River may sound like just the thing. There have been lower water levels near Lanesboro, but as Matt Rainier shows us, that didn't stop people from spending some quality time on a tube or kayak.
Going off last year, we felt like we were hardly able to run because it was so much rain and high water. To then go to like this extreme, now we're hoping maybe next year it'll be like a good medium, hopefully.
Temperatures may be on the rise and the water, it may be a little bit lower than usual, but that hasn't stopped locals from across the state venturing down here to Lanesboro for a fun afternoon on the water. Locals and visitors are taking full advantage of the heat in the final weeks of tubing season.
I mean, people that just want to go out there and just have a really good time with family and friends or whatever, like just getting a few hours out on the river to just enjoy themselves, to say that they have like such a good time doing that, between swimming and floating and yeah, I don't know, just the town too, people really seem to like.
Although attendance remains high, Caleb and his staff have experienced difficulties the past 2 seasons. This is due to the extreme weather the area has been receiving, with the lack of rain being an issue this past season.
So it's a little low like that. So the average depth's 2 to 3.5 feet. Right now it's at 1.85. The scrapable line's 1.5, so it's closer to average than scrapable. But yeah, the feedback's still been good.
My granddaughter.
In some other news, wildfires rage in Athens today. Firefighters battling more than a dozen blazes discovered burned bodies of 18 people near a remote village. A photojournalist capturing this incredible video north of Athens. It shows how fast the fires can move due to strong winds, as firefighters and locals are desperately working to try to battle that blaze. India has landed its Chandrayaan-3 spacecraft on the moon, becoming the 4th nation ever to accomplish such a feat. Until now, only the U.S., China, and the former Soviet Union have completed the mission. The spacecraft's landing site is also closer to the moon's south pole than any other spacecraft has gone. A significant location because it's believed to have water ice deposits that could be converted into rocket fuel or even drinking water for future crewed missions. Well, even on a hot day, you can still enjoy a little pumpkin spice. At least that's what Starbucks is counting on. We'll be right back. I know some people looking forward to this. Fall drinks are returning to Starbucks. Starting tomorrow, an iced pumpkin cream chai latte will be joining Starbucks' existing fall lineup with the pumpkin spice latte and a pumpkin cream cold brew. This fall marks the 20th anniversary of the coffee chain's iconic pumpkin spice latte, probably one of their most popular times of the year.
I imagine it has to be. Yeah, I hear about it every year now. It's more and more famous every year that people have been talking about it. I can't believe it's been 20 years, though.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe that's a way to cool off, a little pumpkin spice that'll put you in those sweater weather thoughts.
That's right, yeah, sweater weather not happening anytime really soon. Today, a steamy day. Look for highs around 96, 97 maybe, but the heat index approaching 110 to 115. 7-day forecast beyond this. It does look like we'll have some upper 80s tomorrow and then 70s this weekend.
Thank you, Ted. Have a great afternoon. Cami Raisler is in next at 4 p.m. for Midwest Access.